Hey, there we go. Just in time to introduce myself. For those of you who I've not met online, I am Steve Wieson. I am the president of Tri Coaching Connection, and welcome to our May program. I want to check if there's any new members. I don't see any new members in the room. How about online? Do we have any new members online? And Eileen, can you put us back to the whole Brady Bunch view? So we can see everybody. Yeah. Okay, any new members online that will want to introduce themselves? As a reminder for everyone, I want to read back through our vision statement. Our vision as an organization is to develop and sustain a diverse, inclusive, and supportive learning community for coaches and those interested in the practice of coaching. We often have visitors who are interested in coaching and they're just dropping in to check it out and see how it is. So let's put on our best faces for them. A couple reminders for everyone. Coach Cafe every Wednesday, 5 o'clock. There's a link on the website. And the cafe following the program, so next Wednesday, in a couple of days, we'll be continuing any discussion from this. And we had a great program lined up today. Coaching to navigate and overcome toxic work environments. The irony was this morning, I was looking through some news and there was an announcement that Miss USA and Miss Teen USA both resigned because of a toxic work environment. So this is an extremely relevant topic and it's happening all over. So I'm really excited. I'm looking at Sherry as I'm saying it. She's nodding. She must have read it too. Another announcement is for those of you who are ICF approved coaches, this is International Coaching Week. So any members that can go out to the ICF website and it's free courses, you can register. And even if you can't make it, register and then you can do the replay. And if you're not an ICF coach, that's okay too. Go out there, check out the information. You can still register. There might be a nominal fee to take some of those courses. Lastly, I want to acknowledge we have 3 new board members this year. Kathleen Donahue. Kathleen, are you online? I don't see her. Sarah Nielsen is in the room. Sarah, welcome. Yeah. Board member. And Michelle Boshin as well. Special thank you for those people remembering that this is volunteer work and it does require a little bit more hours than just being a part of TCC. So I really do appreciate everybody on the board and their dedication. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Martha. She'll get us rolling on this topic.
Thank you, Steve. Oops. And Eileen, if you wouldn't mind just popping slides back up for me just for a minute so that people can. Good morning, everyone. Steve hit several of the high points. I am just excited about this program. And I will tell you that we work with a lot of different speakers and different groups that help to bring our speakers and make them possible. And today's working with the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Belonging group has been, it always is a delight. And it has been a pleasure. And they have been working for about 5 months to bring this program. Do you mind advancing those, Eileen, for us? And Steve talked about the TCC experience. Talked a little bit about where we're going to go. Want to just give you a few hybrid hints, please, if we could. Next, there we go. Please, if you can, be on camera. It really does help to create that sense of community, even though there is geographic distance between us. So please use your camera. And also, please use your mute unless you're speaking. My chocolate lab likes to snore really loud, and people often think I'm the one sleeping. So we don't want to make that confusion, even though I know you're going to be fully engaged in our program today. The other thing is to please use chat and or raise your hand. I'll be helping Eileen monitor the chat. But please do participate, no matter how you choose to do that. There'll be a number of opportunities to do. And we also invite you, I don't think there are actually any breakout materials that are going to be accessible to you, so don't worry about that. But do take a screenshot of the questions that are on the screen, and we'll try to remember to have you do that before you head into the breakouts. So that's for the people online, but they're not the only ones who have a job. The people in the room do too. When we bring people back from breakouts online, they just get sucked right back in. There's that vortex, right? And so I would ask that you all do the same. Think about when you've been the person online and the commotion that's going on in the room. We've got the opportunity to have some fabulous breakouts. We also have some great opportunity that Sherry and the committee have arranged for us to have some really good sharing. So I would just invite you all to be very, very mindful of that. And also please state your name so that the people online, you have the benefit of being able to read theirs. They don't have that same benefit. So please do state your name before you start speaking or asking your question. And I think, let's see, what's next? I mentioned that this is the group who is our partner today. And with that, I am going to turn it over to that committee's fabulous, lovely chairperson, Linda Reese.
Right. Okay, I got a good place to look. Right. Good morning. I'm Linda Reese, the chair of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee at TCC. DEIB is honored today to sponsor coaching to navigate and overcome toxic work environments, a topic which is both compelling and relevant in today's society, in business, personal life, and as Steve just shared with us, it's happening as we speak. In our current roles and during everyday interactions, we have become increasingly aware of the silent epidemic affecting over 79 million employees in the workforce today. Our goal today is to share our experiences and a bit of what we've learned and fuse the two together to create positive realities for those impacted. We understand the content of today's program might be or can be disturbing to some of you and will be handled with sensitivity. Use your judgment in how you will participate. We have a full agenda today, and we're after many meetings and many sessions, we've really come together with something very positive for a very negative situation. So please participate with us. And without further ado, I give you Dr. Harrell Roberts.
Well, good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you. I'm here, I guess, as a founding member of the Tri-Coaching Connection, being a coach, executive coach, leadership coach with emphasis on wellness. But I also have another capacity being with you this morning as a licensed clinical psychologist. And I'm here today to talk about this topic in terms of overcoming toxic workplaces and the impact thereof upon all of us. In light of the fact that this topic may be very much of a trigger emotionally for some of us, we have had the honor of having some of your fellow colleagues who are also coaches, members of TCCC, who too are also trained and licensed as mental health professionals. And these persons will serve as facilitators for today's program. I have had the honor and the privilege of working with each of these persons in various capacities over the years, some within and outside of the Tri-Coaching Connection. So I want to cite for you who are these esteemed colleagues are today who will be working with us as facilitators. And also, I would say they could also be referral sources if the need comes for you to seek a clinical referral for yourself based upon today's topic, or upon some of your colleagues or clients, I should say, these persons will be available to you. My esteemed colleagues are as follows. Ms. Kate Weinberg, who's a licensed social worker. Dr. KJ Shapiro, who's a doctorate in psychology and clinical psychology. Mr. Matthew McMillan, who's a licensed clinical mental health counselor and also a licensed addiction specialist. Ms. Melanie Woodard, licensed clinical mental health counselor, and Ms. Trudy Tobias, licensed clinical social worker. Each of these persons, as I said before, I know and worked with, and they are stellar in what they do. And we will have the privilege today of having them being our facilitators. Again, our contact information is here on the screen, as you see here. If you need to call someone and make or you need to make a referral for a client or to be able to seek consultation for yourself, our emails address are listed here. Please take a screenshot of those listings for your use doing and beyond the program. With that being said, it is my pleasure at this point to present to you Dr. Sherry Abernathy, the person who brought this program to our topic today. She has personal involvement in this topic, and you will be in most capable hands. I present to you Dr. Sherry Abernathy, my friend and my esteemed colleague.
So good morning, everyone. Everybody hear me? Yes. Good. Okay, great. Well, I am honored to be the interviewer and facilitator for this program today. Again, I'm Sherry Abernathy. I'm a speaker, I'm a leadership and career coach, and I'm a board member of this great organization, Triad Coaching Connection, better known as TCC. It gives me great joy to introduce our speaker who I will interview this morning, Dr. Comfort Akpala. Dr. Akpala is very, very relevant to this program today, and you'll hear why. We are really honoring someone who was in a toxic work environment, who didn't know how to navigate, and who is unfortunately no longer with us because they didn't have the tools. And so we're here to provide the tools to coaches so that you can share those with your clients and that this navigation can get out to masses of people. So many people, as Linda said, they deal with this. 79 million employees work in a toxic work environment. Dr. Comfort Akpala is a professor of leadership studies in the Department of Leadership Studies and Adult Education in the College of Education at North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro, North Carolina. She served as the chair for the department for more than 5 years. Also, she has a certificate in evidence-based coaching from the Fielding Graduate University. Dr. Akpala's research agenda is grounded in leadership studies, STEM leadership, global leadership issues, policy, finance, social justice. She has articles in a variety of referee journals like the Journal of Value-Based Leadership, International Business and Economics Research Journal, just to name a few. Her published articles have received over 1,200 citations by national and international scholars and researchers according to Google Scholar. A couple of her recent publications include Comfort Akpala 2023, Exploring Subordinates' Perceptions and Experiences with Abusive Leaders in Higher Education. It was a qualitative study. Another one is with Cam Caldwell, Comfort Akpala 2022, Leading with Passion, What It Means, Why It Matters. So at this time, I would like to bring Dr. Akpala on so I can talk to her about who we are honoring as part of this program, Dr. Bonnie Candia Bailey, who lost her life in toxicity in the workplace, bullying in the workplace. So Dr. Aquila, thank you so much for being with us today. So I would like for you to come on and to just share with us your interaction with Dr. Bonnie.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I hope you can all hear me. Okay, yeah, thank you for inviting me for this special, I will call it special occasion, because this topic is very special to me. As we lost a student, a graduate of mine, as Dr. Harrell was asking about my graduates. On Friday, we graduated 6 students, 6 doctoral students from leadership studies. 3 of those 6 were mine. And I take passion in working with my students. I keep in touch with them even after they've graduated, doing great things. And Bonnie was about the 3rd of the students that I graduated. So we kept in touch. She worked at North Carolina A&T before she got a better job at University of Wisconsin-Madison. And she was doing great. But she had a love and passion for her alma mater. And so when she got a position from that school, she called me. She said, oh, I have this position to become the vice president for students. I told her not to go. I advised her, I said, stay where you are. And because I've worked at 3 institutions, all HBCUs, and all different. I've also experienced bullying and the way I dealt with it. So based on those experiences, I encouraged her not to take the position, but because of her passion to serve students at her alma mater, she told me that she was going to take it. And so she accepted the position. And I told her that I will still support her regardless of my advice to her. And so we kept in touch. I will call her from time to time to know how she was doing. But she never informed me about what she was going through, the toxicity at her institution. It was in December of last year, I saw a post from her about her students going through issues at work. So I called her immediately. I said, I saw your post about a friend. Are you okay? And she said, oh, Dr. Paul, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Why? I said, because I saw that post and I'm not sure if that is your friend or you. And she said, oh, that's my friend. Can you pray for her? I said, Bonnie, but are you okay? And she said, oh, yeah, she assured me that she was okay. And that was in December, late December. Then in January, I read that she committed suicide. And then when I heard that, I screamed and I said, wow, that was really what she wrote about in her dissertation. Because her dissertation was about people, women in higher ed. And most of the participants experienced bullying in their workplace. And so it helped me so bad that I thought maybe I could have done more to help her when I called her after reading her post. And so if you know Bonnie, you will know that she's someone who exudes love for the environment, love for people, love for students, love for everyone. And she handles her job very passionately. She's a very dedicated person. She's humbled. And so when I heard that, it was like a part of me was lost. No, but that's that's what toxicity can cause to an individual, especially when you feel like you failed, because she's someone who likes to succeed. She likes to build a legacy, to make an impact in people's lives, in her students' lives. And so when she was going through things, she didn't confide in anyone, not me, not her mother, not her husband, but she was going through all that all by herself. And so when I look back and I said, oh, maybe I could have done more. Because when I read that post, I thought that she was going through something. But I called and she assured me that it was her friend. And so more needs to be done. And like you've already alluded, we've heard about the Miss USA. And someone told me that this month, May, is also recognized as the Mental Awareness Health Month. And so Bonnie is missed, as we call her, even though her name is Antoinette Candia Bailey, we called her Bonnie. And I must say that, like I mentioned before, I experienced bullying in my higher ed, but I took action. Okay, we had a dean that was bullying almost everyone, faculty, staff, everyone. And so she will call people to meetings and she will tell them that she will fire them. And so when it was time for me to have a meeting, she was new at the institution. So when it was time for me to have a meeting, I did something out of this world, extraordinary, unorthodox. I took a hidden camera to the meeting, which was not the right thing to do, but I did that because of her reputation. And so when I went to the meeting, she also told me that she was going to terminate my contract. And mind you, I was a tenure track faculty, that you must have reason to terminate a tenure track faculty. But she told me that. She said, oh, I have approval from the higher ups to terminate you. I said, but why? Because I've been at the institution for, at that time it was 12 years, and I had excellent evaluations. So why will you terminate my contract? And she said, well, I was authorized to do so. So at the end of the meeting, I walked straight to the provost office and I played the tape, and they were shocked at what the lady did. And the tape was the reason she was removed from that position. Okay, so sometimes people may not believe your words because it will be your words against hers. So if I go out and say, oh, she threatened to fire me, and she might say, oh, I didn't. And so sometimes people, because a lot of people who were going through that, some left. I knew a lot that left their positions, they retired, some moved to other institutions, some were sick and just quit. And so when I saw that, I said, even though I took action, I said, I'm gonna do a study. I knew all those individuals who left. I knew those who just quit. I knew those who transferred to other institutions. I told them, I said, I'm going to do a study later about this issue. And they all agreed and participated in my study. I went through approvals, the Institutional Review Board approval to conduct the study because it was a very sensitive issue. Bullying is people don't want to talk about it. Even a lot of people that went through bullying, because it was a dean, and you have a number of faculty who were exposed to her. They didn't want to talk about it. They say, oh no, I don't want to talk about it. Because even though she's no longer at the institution, they still didn't want to talk about it. It was such a sensitive issue, but I had some who willingly participated in the study and they shared their experiences. And for some, they're still going through those experiences, even up till today. So you can imagine the impact on grown-ups who left the institution still going through the bullying.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing. I learned more than I thought. Bullying, as you said, it's adults, but as we know, kids go through bullying as well. In our book discussion, we learned that, you know, not just workplaces, it could be nonprofits, it could be schools where your children go to school or your grandchildren go to school. Bullying is out there, and how do we navigate it? I want to ask you a couple more questions,
Okay.
Dr. Akula.
Yes.
You shared quite a bit with us, and you also talked about with Dr. Bonnie, you saw that there was something, but what do you believe is the responsibility of those who witness bullying in the workplace?
Yes, thank you for that question. I believe that the old saying, if you see something, do something. And it's not just a cliche. People who witness bullying must act. They must talk to someone. And they must talk to the person experiencing bullying to know their well-being, if they're receiving it well, because I did experience it and I saw others. And I will say, okay, let's form an alliance and report this woman. But they said, oh, no, we don't want to lose our jobs. We don't want to be part of it. And so, but I was also going through it. And so I would say if you see something, do something, talk to HR, talk to someone that can help, because it wouldn't make sense to just keep quiet. The keeping quiet is also a disease that can kill, that can result in what Barney went through. So my response will be to do something to stop the bullying in the workplace, or to look into mental health, because someone who is bullying others may also be going through mental health issues that we don't know. And so it will be important to talk to the higher ups, especially HR, but people believe that HR, they are complacent, that they don't take enough actions, especially when things are reported to them. But it will be important to at least make sure that you report it to people, to HR, file a complaint. You can file a complaint on behalf of someone else. So that would be my response.
If you had all the power and authority, how would you remedy bullying in the workplace?
Thank you. I wish I did have all the power. But if I do, I will make sure that bullying is not tolerated at my institution. That's one thing. It will not be tolerated at all. And I will make sure that all the faculty, leadership, staff go through workshops and development on bullying. Okay. They will all go through training, and everyone will sign a contract against bullying. And so I will hold everyone accountable on that contract. So if you break the contract, we'll look into it, investigate, and if you're found guilty, terminate your contract with the institution. So I'll take serious action against bullying.
Okay. So you'll set up a culture early on to say we don't
Early
tolerate
on.
bullying in the workplace.
Yes. And
And
there
everybody
should be a
sign on.
culture against bullying at every workplace.
Great, great. Great, thank you for that. I have another question for you. What types of physical and emotional outcomes result from a toxic work environment?
Okay, and you can see based on Barney's case, she died. So that's a very, I mean, that's tough. That's tough. And one can imagine what she went through before she even took her own life. And so the emotional trauma, the physical trauma, and I witnessed people that were sick. They were physically sick because of this particular dean. And so bullying can have a significant impact on people. Mental, physical, emotional. It can have a toll. And for others, Barney is a perfectionist. She was a perfectionist. And I know that she failed in her pursuit of helping students. And so when you have that feelings of failing in your organization, probably that's the reason she didn't tell anyone that she was going through stuff. So bullying can have a physical, emotional impact on those that are experiencing it.
You're saying how it has that impact, but it doesn't just impact that person. It impacts their community around them, their family, their children, their spouse. They're dealing with all of this stress. And the bottom line, it can impact your work. You're
Yes.
there, you're in a workplace to get work done. And
Yes. And not that, it can also impact the organization because productivity will go down. I remember when we had that then, people were using their sick leaves a lot. And so it was impacting the productivity at the institution. And like you said, the community, the family. So it's not just that individual, it transcends to others, to friends, to families, to the community, the village, because we are part of a village. So it has an enormous impact on others.
so in your experience, in your role, in your research, what have you discovered in the workplace that amounts to workplace bullying? I mean, there's so many different ways to bully. So what have you seen or experienced? You shared one thing with us.
Okay, yes, and shouting like the participants because there are many ways that someone can bully others, not just by talking down, by shouting at them, by making them feel that they are not qualified to be there, making them feel that they are not incompetent, making them feel that they are less than what they are. Like the dean I shared with you, we had a meeting because I was an assistant dean at that time. And she just wanted us to read about her. She wrote an article and she wanted us to read her article, which had no role in what we were doing in the college. And she just wanted us to talk about her. So it was all about her. And so we said, well, you wrote the article. And she said, what else? And so she just wanted us to talk about her. Oh, she looked good. Oh, she's so smart. That's all she wanted us. But she didn't get that. So everyone was just looking and she said, well, I'm dismissing this meeting. You all are incompetent. That's a way of bullying, telling us that we were incompetent. I mean, we looked at each other like, wow, I was hired for this position based on my skills and qualifications. And here comes this lady telling me that I'm incompetent. And so that's another way, making people feel that they are incompetent. And then sometimes when she will come in, we'll greet her, good morning, and she will just walk away. So letting us know that we don't even deserve to be talked to. So talking down on folks is another way. You talk down on people.
So talking down and shouting and making people feel that
Yes.
they don't matter, they're
Yeah.
unsupported. And those are just different ways, and I guess people need to look at those signs and see if they really are part of a toxic environment.
Yes.
So knowing the
And
signal.
that's right. And sometimes, the way she would distribute resources, she have all the control of the college resources. And so if you have to travel, she will have to sign your papers, and she will refuse to sign it. I say, oh no, you're not traveling because you don't deserve it. And so that's a way of putting you down. So they put down, they talk down, making you feel inferior.
So we know that 79 million employees are going through something like this. It may not be that exact thing, but it's something
Yes.
like that, that they're experiencing, that's putting them down, down, down. And not letting them be their whole self and letting them have a good well-being. Last question for you. How do we as coaches circumvent this? How do we help a client help them through this? So from your perspective and what you've seen, and we understand the tragic outcomes, not just I can't function well, but some people will take it all the way to the next level, depending on how long probably they've dealt with it. And as some of the psychologists here, if someone has dealt with something so long, maybe they go from I just need better well-being to I'm super depressed, and now they have a diagnosis. And so how do we early on as coaches circumvent that from happening, even though they're in a toxic workplace?
Yes, and I think we'll start by asking critical questions. Because sometimes asking those questions to elicit some responses from the individuals going through stuff, because sometimes it's difficult for them to talk about it. The stigma of mental health too, okay? Because from some cultures, they don't talk about it at all. Even when I was going through those experiences and I'll come home, would like to share, and they're like, no, you're not depressed. You don't look like you're depressed at all. So if we can ask some critical questions and become advocates of those, probably they may be willing to share.
I said that was the last question, but I'm gonna ask you one more. So based on that latest research you did, the publication around abusive leaders in higher education, and I don't know if that was the one that the research that you did with those who left, but can you share some of those results that you found in that research study?
Okay, and I have I had some participants. I interviewed them, just like Bonnie did in her dissertation, that she interviewed the higher ed professionals who were women, and so they shared their experiences with bullying, the ones in my study, and all these different levels of bullying, the talking down. And like I mentioned, especially one participant, she cried, even talking about it. She had tears in her eyes what someone put her through. And she told me she thought about suicide too. She thought about it, but she said, oh no, that she would rather leave. And so she took early retirement rather than talk to someone. And another said she asked others to collaborate, to come together to report. But some people didn't want to report. Others said, no, I didn't want to be involved because I will be marked in higher ed. And so when you are marked, you may not be able to get a job anywhere else, and they may terminate you. And others said, well, they may not believe me. They may not believe me if I report, because they hired this one based on her qualifications. And so if I report that she's doing this, they may not believe it. And which is true now, because when I look back on Barney's case, they didn't believe her. So it's like the university or the institutions investigating themselves. So at the end of the day, they will say, oh, we didn't find any evidence of bullying. And so people were afraid. People were afraid of speaking out. But my question is, if you're afraid of speaking out and you retired, so why not speak out even after you retired? They were still afraid. Okay. And some were sick, physical illness that they left. They took sick leave and left. And so, but what at the end of the day we learn is that it's important to speak out, regardless of whether they'll believe you or not, or if you will lose your job or not. It's better to either form a community, take that role, leadership role, and take care of yourself and report. And report the matter and form alliance. The importance of forming a community alliance within any workplace is very critical. And so even there is what we now call sister circle. So women coming together to talk about issues affecting their lives, which includes bullying. If you share bullying cases, there will be someone that will advise you, help you, and even work with you. And now institutions, because it's now prevalent, institutions are having mental health days and weeks. So advising and training people to take care of themselves because they matter.
Absolutely. You said something, and then we're going to move on. You said something about forming alliances. We had a book discussion before this program. The book was called Rising Above a Toxic Workplace, Taking Care of Yourself in an Unhealthy Environment by Gary Chapman, Paul White, and Harold Myra. And they talked about forming alliances or finding your support people when you go into positions, because you're gonna need people. And a lot of times, even though we have a wonderful coach, the coach can't be with you all the time. So you need to form some alliances. So thank you, Dr. Akla, for that. And for sharing with us this morning. I know it's the end of the semester. They have graduation on Saturday. And I know that you're duty cause, and you have a dissertation defense shortly. So we're gonna let you go. Thank you for all you do in this area. I hope you just sound the bullhorn loudly, even though you've left the institution, because there was somebody out there on YouTube who's a man who went through a toxic work environment. And he said, you're either gonna fight or you're gonna flight, So if, even though you flight, still help somebody else. Still report, still fight, even though you flight, right? So anyway, thank you so much for being with us this morning. She's gonna sign off, attend her student's defense, and go from there. So.
Thank you all. Yes, thank you all. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And this is a very critical issue that is dear to my heart. And I enjoy being here. And I thank you for the work that you're doing with this group. Thank you.
Thank you.
To move on, and at this time, we're going to do our first breakout. And we have a breakout on the screen, and we're going to have breakouts in the room. So at this time, our program producers are setting up the breakouts. You got two that are going to be in here, Martha?
How many do you want to, I think you've only got two of your facilitators in the room, so.
Okay, so where's the facility? Okay, so just want to stay in the same tables and we can just go with it like that in the room.
And Eileen, can you put up the slides so they're able to, thank you.
So the questions are on the screen. And so we're gonna do 10 minutes of this, the breakout, and then we'll come back and do the discussion.
And all of the questions are equally important. That's why they're all numbered 1.
Okay, we're going to breakouts online. Debbie and Deborah, did you get your breakout rooms?
Yes, I did. I'm not a coach. I was
Thank you.
just